Cooking Cronies. Today I'm going to share a recipe with you for your dogs. It's a dog treat made from pumpkin and peanut butter. So I hope you enjoy it. It's a little out of our ordinary for Cooking Cronies, but I think it's going to be a nice treat for your pups. Hope you enjoy it. So I found this recipe on All Recipes, and it's pretty simple and very basic. I've got my oven heating at 350 degrees. It's going to call for whole wheat flour, and I have my King James whole wheat flour here ready to be measured. It calls for 2 eggs, a half a can of pumpkin, and make sure you use the pure pumpkin, not the pie filling pumpkin. It calls for peanut butter, and I like to use crunchy peanut butter. And then it also calls for a little bit of salt and, well, to be exact, a half a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. So let's start the recipe. Okay, I have pre-measured 2.5 cups of whole wheat flour. And again, I said I'm using the King Arthur whole wheat flour. I've got 2 eggs here that I'm going to beat a little bit before putting them in with my flour. Just a little bit, just so that they incorporate a little bit better. Okay, and as I said before, the recipe calls for a half a cup of canned pumpkin. I purchased this measuring cup from Pampered Chef years ago, and I like it for solids such as pumpkin and peanut butter, but I'm not going to be using enough peanut butter to utilize this. But if you just open it and you set it to the amount that you're going to need, and in this case, it was just a half a cup, so I've set it at a half a cup. Normally, I set it a little bit bigger, that way I can get the exact amount that I'm going to need. Okay, so I'm scooping the pumpkin into the measuring cup. And I'm leveling it in there to make sure I don't have any air bubbles. And what I like about this measuring cup is that I'm going to lift it to the exact amount that I'm going to need, and then I can level it off even better and get the exact amount. So here goes. So I need a half a cup. So I'm going to push this up till it reaches a half a cup. And then I'm going to slide my spatula over it. And the rest I'll put back in the can. And then, as you can see, I can just like syringe it out. So there's none wasted on the sides of the measuring cup. Okay, it's calling for 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. So this is going to be a little bit harder trick to accomplish because, you know, we all know peanut butter sticks to the sides of everything. So I'm going to use my fingers. All right, so let's just scoop this out, and I'm not going to level it because I don't think our dogs will care whether we have more or less peanut butter in there. But I think it's going to work out nicely. All right, and another tablespoon. And I'll get that in there. All right, looks like it's, you know, I might just scoop just a tiny bit because of what's left on the spoon. Okay, so I have the peanut butter. I have the pumpkin, I have the eggs and the flour in here. I'm going to now add the salt, which was just a half a teaspoon of salt, and then it will be a half a teaspoon of the ground cinnamon. So here's my half a teaspoon of salt. And I keep my cinnamon in this because I buy large quantities of cinnamon. So I don't want to have the big container up here. Okay. All right. So that's all the ingredients, and we're just going to incorporate all of this. This makes about 25 dog treats. So let's just get all this mixed together. And if it's too dry, you can add water to this mixture. And I'm thinking instead of water, I might just add a little more pumpkin if necessary. So let's just get this mixed. You don't want to add too much liquid to it. So I haven't added any water yet. I'm just going to incorporate it with my hands and see if that will help it come together, because the recipe actually says that the dough should be dry and stiff, and lo and behold, that's what I have so far. You can really smell the peanut butter in this recipe. It comes together pretty well if you just squeeze it. But I am going to add a touch of water to it because it's I can't get that bottom piece incorporated in. So I'm adding maybe a teaspoon of water. Oh yeah. Now I think it'll come together almost like a biscuit dough is what it needs to come together. You know, with biscuit doughs, you're not supposed to over knead it, but I think in this case, this isn't biscuit dough. So I'm going to put it on my counter and see if I can incorporate it just a little bit better. You can see it's kind of crumbly. All right. See if I can mold it into a flat sheet. I want it about a ½ an inch thick. There we go. All right, I'm going to roll it and to about a ½ an inch, it says. And it's cracking, so I will just put it back together with my fingers, my hand, and then continue rolling until I get it to the ½ inch. Yep, it's dry. And that's what it says. It's supposed to be dry. So we'll see how I can make this dry dog treat a ½ an inch in diameter. I'm sorry, ½ an inch thick. So let's keep rolling and we'll keep putting it together. It's probably, let's see if I can get my trusty little yep, it's a ½ an inch. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut it into ½ inch pieces. So let me get a knife. Sharp knife here, a little knife. I don't need anything big. And I think I'm going to just kind of see what 1/2 inch is here and go for it. I don't think my dogs are going to care if it's over 1/2 inch. And you know, I'm going to have to put these pieces together because they're quite crumbly, especially here on the ends. So we'll just manipulate it a little bit, maybe with a dab of water. Especially on the ends, the center doesn't seem to be as dry. So I'm going to just form this into like a little finger, like so, and put that on my baking sheet. I have prepared my baking sheet with parchment paper. Just makes for easier cleanup. And I'll set this on my cookie sheet and go to the number 2. Yeah, that one's crumbling too. So I'm just gonna, all this little soft crumbly stuff I'm gonna put aside and add a little liquid to it when I form it back together to make more cuts. So that's not too bad. There we go. I don't think these are going to spread out so they can be close on your cookie sheet. I'm going to cut off all of the ends and add a little moisture to them when I put them together. So, like that. And then 1/2 inch. And then just the size. I've got small dogs, so I don't want these to be too big. Got a Maltese and then our little junkyard dog that's just a mixed breed of cute. All right. All right. I'll just continue on with my cookie sheet. Okay, so I've incorporated all the scraps, added a little water to it because some of them were really dry. So we'll see. Okay, so again, I'm going to just trim it so I get nice edges for my little dog treats. This smells good enough to eat, and it's all natural ingredients here, so I guess if you wanted to snack on this too, you could, because there's no artificial preservatives or anything that would gross you out. These aren't uniform, but they weren't made by a machine either. And I think my dogs are going to love them. They don't care what shape they're in, as long as they taste good. My little Noah, which is our little, we call him our junkyard dog. He was a rescue. He eats anything we eat, so I know I would eat this. I'll even taste it after it's done. Don't want to eat it raw. These eggs are free-range eggs from my dad, so they've not been treated. So, I'm not going to eat raw egg. All right, I'm making that one just a little bit bigger. I don't want to waste anything, so this last piece, I'm going to just put on the cookie sheet big like this, and I'll just break it up for my pups when I want to give them a treat. Or it'll break up by itself. Let's see. I don't want to wet it because it says it's supposed to be dry. So as I said, I've preheated my oven to 350 degrees, and now I'm going to bake them about 40 minutes. So I'll be back. The oven went off. I've taken them out, and they have cooled. So the big test is I'm going to see what my dogs think. So let's get this adjusted so that they can be seen. Noah, Nikki, come here. Well, Noah came right away. So let's see if I can get this down a little farther. There he is. Come here, Noah. See if you like that. Yeah. He's a fan. So, give this recipe a try. It's a nice healthy treat for the dogs, and boy, they like it. Have a great day cooking, Cronies, and God bless.